Hello there and welcome back to the Indoor Golf Performance Centre here at Howley Hall Golf Club in Leeds. As you can see, we have the brand new Wilson Dynapwr Fairway wood range to put through its paces today. But before we do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like it as well, and hit that notification bell. So every single time we put a video on the channel, you will be the first to know. Wilson have really come on leaps and bounds in the last probably 2 to 3 seasons in the product they've released in the metals category, really. So their hybrids, fairway woods, drivers have been extremely good, really, when we've tested them against all the kind of industry leaders, if you like, with the Callaways, TaylorMades and Pings of this world. Wilson have really improved, I think, more than any other brand in this space. We know their irons are amazing, okay? They're still hold the record for the most majors won, Wilson irons. But today is all about fairway woods. We've obviously got 2 very different models. So we have Wilson Dynapwr Max and Wilson Dynapwr Carbon. So they're very, very different fairway woods. You can see by the looks of them that they are quite different too. So in that kind of playing position, particularly in the Carbon, I think it looks very much like the TaylorMade Stealth, which was out a couple of years ago, which I don't think is a bad thing at all. That was an amazing fairway wood and looked really, really good. We've obviously got 2 very different finishes with a more gloss look here in the Max fairway, and that it's still kind of a gloss but more carbon effect that we see in the Carbon, obviously. The standard Dynapwr Max has a 12-gram weight in the back there, which can be changed around. You don't get a weight kit with it, but when you're fitted properly for it, we can add or take more weight out to change the flight ever so slightly. And there is a 30-gram tungsten weight in the front of the Carbon, again, to lower that launch and spin. So we would expect this to launch slightly lower, spin slightly less, launch higher, spin a little bit more. In terms of the tech, so the PKR 360 face is something that is going all the way through this new Dynapwr range. So what that means is basically that the face kind of wraps around a little bit more, but also it's more forgiving. So if we hit the heel, the toe, the center, we're going to get similar ball speeds across the face. And that is a kind of story we're seeing across many of the brands out there in the industry really at the moment, is trying to make product more forgiving. They've kind of got to the limit of how far they can go. We all know that. Last year's is probably not going to go any further than this year's, but they can make them more forgiving. And I think the evolution in that technology over the past 3-4 seasons has been a really good one. Let's go hit these and I'll tell you exactly what I think. So we're going to start off with Dynapwr Max, okay? Now, the predecessor to this fairway wood obviously won loads of awards last year, was voted the best or got gold medals in everything, basically loads of tests that we saw, independent ones. And I would guess that this is probably going to do just as well. I think looks-wise, it's great. It doesn't look too dissimilar to the previous model. I really like that gloss finish on the top of it. Right, let's see what it feels like. It feels very good, very, very fast, easy to launch as well. Wow, it's got about 280 yards, that first one, which is pretty good for a 3-wood for me. Certainly the launch and spin looks pretty good as well. I just think, look, the sort of feel of it is much more kind of high pitched, the sound when you hit it, so it's that tingy kind of fairway wood that maybe a lot of you have got used to over the years. It doesn't, I'm guessing it's not going to sound anything like the Carbon one. Definitely that more metallic, steely sort of sound when we hit it. Feels fantastic. Feels very quick off the face. Feels like the ball's coming off extremely quick. Wow. Probably the best of the 3. Comes off like an absolute bullet. That's very good. I mean, those 3 that I've just hit there are probably within 3 or 4 yards of each other. Extremely impressive. Just feels such an easy club to launch and hit. And looking at the numbers we're getting there, very impressive too. The ball speed's good. You know, the height that we're getting is very, very good. Again, another good strike. Just feels so easy to use. That nice little fade all the time, and around the 270 to 280 mark will definitely do with a 3-wood. We're Right, let's move on to carbon, but that's going to take some beating, let me tell you. So, carbon fairway wood obviously looks very different, okay? That kind of footprint, similar kind of shape, but with that carbon finish on the top. We've also got, remember, that heavier 30-gram weight that we've got in the front of this fairway wood too, with the tungsten in there as well. Remember, both of these feature PKR 360 face. This one, though, adjustable, right? So we've got that kind of cog system on there that we can adjust and fine-tune this fairway wood. Certainly felt good. I think I might have leaked it right a little bit. Only just, but it felt very, very strong. Very different sound. I don't know if you can pick that up on the mic there, but definitely that more crunchy, carbony, lower pitched kind of sound that we're getting with it. But again, the distance is pretty similar to what we're getting there. So that first one anyway, to what we're seeing with the standard DYNAPWR one. So yeah, very good. Slightly different spin, which we'd expect, but very different look and feel. That felt like a rocket. Where's that gone? Again, very accurate. That's gone 290, lower spin, lower launch, flatter sort of trajectory that we're getting there. Yeah, I mean, that is top end of where I can hit a 3-wood, I think, towards that 290 mark is very good. Better. Bit more on target, I think. Yep. Yeah, very, very different feel. I think forgiveness-wise, DYNAPWR, for me, just feels like I can hit it anywhere on the face and it's going to come off quite well. This is going to be a very strong flight, something that maybe you'd hit off the tee a little bit more, or maybe a player who doesn't have a driver in the bag might suit that quite nicely too. But two very, very different products there, to be honest. Like I say, I think dispersion-wise, we're probably going to get better with standard DYNAPWR, but let's have a bit of a look at the numbers and see how these two compare. I'm going to hit probably another 10-15 shots with each of these before I do that, and then we'll have a look. Now that we've had a hit with both of these fairway woods, let's have a look at what sort of differences there are, really. In terms of the feel, I would say they both feel great in their own way, but they're very, very different. The carbon one, much duller sound, kind of feels more, I don't know, feels lower spinning, lower launching off the face. And certainly we can see that that is the case here. So we're getting 85 feet versus 102 feet with DYNAPWR Max. Now, for me, that's a little bit on the low side. And certainly when I'm hitting a fairway wood, I don't really want it to be running as far as that is. I mean, they're both carrying about 262 really through the air, which is very good. I'd be very happy with that. But the carbon just seems to run out that little bit further, about 6 yards more run on it, which is fine if you just want a club that goes miles off the tee or as far as possible off the tee. But in this as well, I did hit a couple where it didn't quite hit the middle of the face and there was a big drop off in the distance, and also hit one absolutely miles that came off like a rocket. So I've got the kind of conundrum here where I can hit this 3-wood that goes nearly 300 yards, but also if I miss it, I'm going to lose probably 10, 15 yards. Whereas with the Max model, I felt like I could hit it all over the face and still maintain some of the spins and distances that I was getting off a centered strike. And certainly I'd be happier having it kind of peak at 100 feet there where we see it. And like you saw when we're hitting them, the consistency in the ball flight was amazing as well. So, you know, you can look at this one or two ways. If you want this as a off the tee sort of golf club, maybe the carbon is the one. But if you want that kind of fairway wood that is a bit more playable, easier to launch, maybe gives you a bit more help, the Max is definitely doing that as well. And I can't wait to do a bit more testing with these and maybe get out on the course and play some holes with them as well, just to see how they perform out there too. But hopefully you've enjoyed that video. It's been great testing these, and hopefully the weather gets a bit better here in the UK so we can get outside and test them out on the golf course. See you all very, very soon, and keep watching all of our content on the Golfshake YouTube channel to help you play more and play better.